The National Cardiovascular Data Registry is well represented here at ACC11 and the I2 Summit. There are as many as 11 oral and poster presentations from just 3 registries. So joining me to talk about the impact of the NCDR is the chair, Dr. John Rumsfeld. John, thanks for joining me. And as I mentioned, we've seen this tremendous increase in accepted and published research from the registry. Right. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Randy, let me just say, great to be here, and let me say that NCDR, I think people don't realize that it's in 2,400 U.S. hospitals, over 700 practices with the new Pinnacle outpatient registry. And when they hear about that, they say, wow, it's large in scope, but where's the research going?
Right.
And what we're seeing is just an explosion in research, important research about insights on how care is being delivered in clinical practice, on comparative safety and comparative effectiveness, on appropriateness and so forth. So this is a really exciting time. I wanted to point out just in the last 6 months, there's been 2 publications in JAMA. One showing that in clinical practice of PCI,
right,
that the patients at the lowest risk of bleeding, periprocedural bleeding, are actually the most likely to receive bleeding avoidance therapies such as bivalirudin or closure devices. We have a risk treatment paradox. And NCDR is now taking that to the bedside in terms of clinical decision support. And the early results are very promising as far as reducing bleeding risk.
So the registry is playing a critical role in not only gathering data, but helping to improve practice, is what you're saying. Isn't that right?
I think that's the key point. It's one thing to do research, important research, to present at meetings. I think it's a whole different thing to then translate that into how we deliver care. And that is happening through NCDR.
And we were just talking before we started about another article that was really an interesting article.
Yeah, so everyone's probably aware that also in JAMA was recently published a study about how many ICDs in this country may be implanted without clear indication. And that number came in, nearly a quarter
right,
of them. Now that's caused both interest and controversy, questions about how well documented that is in our medical records. But I think the important point is that it has created an absolute storm of involvement by FACC's cardiologists
right,
in NCDR. What they're doing at their hospitals is going back and getting involved with where's the report on that, how are we documenting that, let's make sure it's documented, and if we do have an issue in appropriate use, let's fix it.
Both are excellent examples. So, it's a great clear-cut vision. Where is NCDR research going in the future?
So I'd like to make 3 quick points. One, that the NCDR data is available to all ACC members and fellows. If they go to ncdr.com/research, you can propose research. And
really?
I think anyone can and should. I think more cardiology fellows in this country should be aware of that. Second, I want to mention one direction that NCDR is going, and that's towards device surveillance in collaboration with the FDA. The NCDR is more and more doing comparative safety studies,
right,
working with FDA, and may be involved in post-approval studies. And third, and this may come as a bit of a shock actually, people think of NCDR registries as observational data only.
Right.
Actually working with the NIH and the Duke Clinical Research Institute, DCRI, we are now going to use the NCDR as a platform for randomized clinical trials.
Cool. So tremendous. The Times and the registry have sort of merged to make it, it's critically important to our practice.
Yeah, I think the 2 things that have changed as opposed to this just being research are, one, that the implications of the research are being translated
right,
into changing care, and number 2, that we're actually going to do more than observational research. We're going to do efficacy studies and close that loop to feed our guidelines.
That's fabulous. John, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for the great leadership with the NCDR.
It's my pleasure. Good to see you.
Thank you.